The boulder feels conflicted about fighting a young, blind girl.
Hi all. Major here. Today we're back with another crash course. This time we're talking about Tetra the Rock Johnson. Just like in the last two, before I was so rudely interrupted by a development break, thanks Joe, I will not be helping illiterate gamers read her abilities. I'm going to talk about my experiences from playing her in some bot matches. Tetra is a multi-range disruptor, really doing all she can to control the flow of a battle, through either a denial of damage with her walls or forcing enemies into a disadvantaged state in their fights. Her abilities are all about doing all she can to make the enemy have as bad a time as possible. Her primary is a fairly decent while hard to hit poking tool to peck enemies from a distance, but if you hold her primary, it turns into a super discounted bishop punch. It has a few important things to know about it. It does have a little bit of momentum behind it, but like the Twink Zeph, it gives you less forward momentum after each punch, and keeps getting less and less as it is used. Also, the damage increase from thrown rocks to punch is very negligible, so if you want to keep constant damage, don't throw hands, throw rocks. Now, in the footage you've been watching, you might have noticed I've been getting launched into the air when I dash, but I'm not a butterfly in the sky. I can't go twice as high as Jordy. Well, that was a bug in the test environment we had, but it'll be fixed for the Wait, they fixed it for a new build? Fuck. Tetra's secondary is a really good engaging tool, a really good peeling tool, and a really good finisher. It's her highest damaging ability, her most direct CC ability, and it resets on kill. On top of that, it dunks if you hit the sweet spot over the abyss. That being said, this ability is not easy to hit. It's extremely short-ranged, and you're slowed while using it, and you're pretty predictable when you jump. She honestly has the most honest and fair dunk in the entire game, which makes it all the more satisfying when you ruin some kid's day. It can be used in combination with her punch mobility or her dash, or probably the best way to use it, the European Special. Just sit in a bush till someone comes near a ledge. The jump you can use is a great way to engage on enemies or make sure they don't get back onto land. It can send her over her wall, and you can also stop it early if you want, embarrassing anyone below you. Her dash is a really interesting tool, not only to keep her constant damage going, but to give her some very interesting disengages, engages, movement tech, or who knows, fuck it. You can do certain tech like charging your primary or your secondary during a dash. You can either get some big stuns or you can carry momentum further after you dash. But a lot of the time, her biggest use for her dash is to buy you time or deal more damage with the ball. Now, onto her most important stuff. Her walls. The Berlin Wall, Stone Walls, Pink Floyd's The Wall, and all other walls. Tetra is able to use her special and her ult to make a bunch of stone pillars into a wall on the map. These walls can be destroyed by allies and enemies and function just like normal terrain on the map. There are a few important things to know about them. Firstly, you and your allies can jump over them as if they were mantleable terrain, which you can use to get you and your team over some walls that you normally wouldn't be able to get over. It can also be quite useful for some engages. You can use it to get higher elevation or get another angle for your dunks. Oh, one other thing with your dunk. You can use your jump once per charge of your secondary, so if you start charging in the air, you can jump once as you land before you slam, giving you a good surprise on the enemy. The last thing I want to mention about the walls is the balls. These can be sent forward by hitting the walls with their primary. They do okay damage, but the big thing is that they do a lot of splash damage and shred armor, meaning she is excellent at ruining the safety that long-range cowards think they have. With all that, the last really important thing you should know about Tetra is she does not do a lot of damage. It may look like I'm completely dumpstering these teams and doing a lot of damage. These are bots. They don't really fight back. They don't dodge. I can out DPS hunters I shouldn't be able to. Hell, when I was playing, I didn't use her passive once. I don't really need to play any macro. I didn't use my bat vision. Basically, I was doing way more relative damage than I realistically should have. Tetra doesn't win fights by doing more damage than the enemy, but rather, she wins fights by making the enemy seemingly have no chance of winning the fight. Through placements of her walls, dumpstering their armor, and disabling enemies through CC, she's able to manipulate fights to her advantage to get a win. That being said, she isn't someone you can just disrespect in a fight. She's still able to scrap with the rest of them, but most of her power comes from her ability to negate damage and restrict enemies' abilities to play the fucking game. Just gotta remember, you can't take Tetra for granted.